Up next on VIP Spotlight.
All right. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, or whatever it would be, depending when you hear this. And we would love to know where you are chiming in from. Where are we reaching you? Go ahead and let us know in the comments. A little bit of love for your city, your town, your province, your state. And I always got to add, or else my mom will get upset, the parish. If you're in Barbados, West Indies, sending some love to the family in BIM. My name's Roderick H. Norville, Full Circle Podcast. What's your story? And I can't even tell you how excited I am for today's VIP guest. In our pre-show huddle, we had to do some math, and I met today's VIP guest in 2004. So that was a minute ago. We've both been up and down the mountain, and we've lost touch and talked again. We both go by different names today than when we first met. That'll come out in her story. But today, Lost Nation, you are in for a treat. You need to put down whatever you are doing, grab a pen, grab paper, prepare. No, go grab 2 pens, because if one runs out, I don't want you having to go look for a pen, miss anything today. Because our VIP guest spotlight interview today is with a TEDx speaker, an award-winning digital marketing strategist. She is the inventor of the SOLD system that spells sold, and that never gets old, never gets old. Put your hands together. A warm Lost Nation welcome. Show her how we do what we do. For those of you on camera, show her some love. Put your hands together for Nakimbe Baobab. What's going on, Giselle?
That feels so much better and normal. Oh my gosh. You guys are great with energy. I mean, I feel like I'm in the middle of a party right here on my patio.
Talk to us. What's going on? It's been a minute.
It has. So it's going on 20 years. It's going on 20 years that we've known each other. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. How did that happen? 2 decades like that? Just whoop.
I know. Remember when our parents used to say time flies, and we're like, and then, oh my gosh, yeah, they're so right.
Well, Nakimbe, you did ask me a question before the pre-show huddle, so I do have to then remind our listeners and our executive team right now that the opinions expressed today are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of the digital television network, that being... No, I'm just kidding. She asked me a question, and I said, hey, girl, you do you, you be you, because that's our whole thing. Be you, because everybody else is taken. Authenticity is a beautiful thing. And we say, don't fake it till you make it. Be it until you become it. Nakimbe, we can't wait to hear you share. Over to you.
All right, then, Roderick Norville, who I used to know as Rod Norville. Thank you so much for that introduction. Yeah, you're totally right. When you met me, my name was Giselle Medford. So I'm really thankful to be here and super excited to share my story. Where should I begin? So first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. So as I said, I'm a TEDx speaker, a chief marketing officer, inventor, and an entrepreneur. I'm also a wife, a mom, and a grandma, actually. And so it's like, well, how did I get here? So I was born in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. My parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. And so, yeah. And so it's really funny because I thought people were all people. I didn't realize I was like Black. I didn't know that Black was a thing until, like, you know, you're 8 years old and you come home and you tell your mom and dad that somebody called you the N-word. And then I remember arguing with my parents. They're like, oh, well, it's because you're Black. And I'm like, but I'm brown. Like, what's wrong? I'm brown. And they're like, no, you're Black. And they're like laughing. And I understand it now.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah. I'm saying that because I think how my story starts and why that's important. Because, and like I say, I'm an entrepreneur now. So how did I get here? And so growing up, my father would always, I knew that he didn't like his job. He always came home. He was really pretty.
Mhm.
So I got instilled in me early on that jobs weren't great. And he would always tell me, look, you know, Giselle, because that was my name. He's like, you're Black, you are female, you have no choice but to get your education in this world, or you're going to have a very difficult time. So I mentioned that in my TEDx talk, right? So I didn't know what he meant. I must have been like 12 at the time. I didn't know what he meant. I was already getting good grades, but I figured, okay, well, I'll just do what daddy told me to do. And so I went, I got good grades, got good jobs. I remember right out of university, some people were complaining that they had to work at restaurants and, you know, wait tables. And right out of university, I got a job at the government of Ontario. It wasn't even well, it was a job, but it was more an internship because they realized that baby boomers were going to be, like, mass amount of baby boomers were going to be exiting the workforce, and they wanted to train us in different areas. So it was a very prestigious job to get right out of university. And of course, you mentioned that your mom's from Barbados. And so there is like no higher prize to a Caribbean than getting a government job. Like,
Yep, yep.
so like but jobs weren't for me. I had my so I went to the University of Toronto. I got pregnant while in school. I had my son. I remember walking on the campus with my big belly waddling and feeling embarrassment.
Right. Judgment. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm already told I'm Black, already a statistic, a single mother. I was playing into that. I don't care. I gotta get my education.
Right.
Yeah, oops, did it again. So I had to. And I remember taking my daughter to like night school. Everybody was like, you know, so I went from full-time to part-time, and, you know, the staff was really great. But I still went on to win an award from the University of Toronto. I was published. And I was very proud of that. I won the Outstanding Undergraduate Research Award.
Wow.
And yes, and that was, see, I didn't know what was going to come out when you told me to tell my life story. So I'm really excited about it. But I was doing environmental resource management. That's what I was studying in school. And they had this philosophy. I was big on recycling. And they had this philosophy that the more educated you were and the higher your socioeconomic status, the more likely you were to recycle. But that was not true in my circle, because in my, you know, Caribbean community or whatever, they were affluent and whatever, but still weren't recycling. And I'm like a tree hugger. So I'm like, why aren't you recycling? So what I did was, in university, I set out to do a research study, which makes me a really good marketer because I do really good market research, right? But I had to go to like at least 100 Black people, people in the Caribbean community in Toronto of different socioeconomic status, and ask them questions. And what I found was it had nothing to do with their socioeconomic status, but it had to do with them being of Caribbean descent. It had to do with segregation. It had to do with, you know, why it's, you know, Caucasians and whites can go and relax in the woods. For us, that's freaking terrifying. So our relationship, right, to the environment was very different.
Right.
So that was my research study. And it was called the EVEB model, ethnocultural values on environmental behavior. So
what, say that again. Whoa, say that again. EVEB?
EVEIB. I'll say it. Ethnocultural values, ethnocultural influences on values. I can't say it now.
Sorry. EVIB.
Yeah, it was the EVEB model, EVEIB. So ethnocultural influences on environmental behavior. There you go.
Wow. Okay, got it.
Right. So yeah, so I won an award for that. But so you just see how this theme of like culture and color has just kind of always sort of been there because of the plantings of my dad, right?
Wow.
Anyway, went on, worked at the Ministry of Environment, again, a very prestigious job. I was a program manager and a project manager. I worked on the Kyoto Protocol. I talked with different government agencies around the world. I wrote house notes, speakers notes, but then you and I met from entrepreneurialism. So I was unfulfilled. right? I didn't understand why when I finished my job at 2 o'clock, I still had to sit there and pretend to be busy until 5. Like I didn't understand that, right? I didn't, getting up in the morning and going to work wasn't so bad, but I really didn't like the traffic, even on
Yep.
public transportation. People were just miserable, unhappy, and that's how you start your day. And then you get to your job. And then, so I was working I know there are a lot of people from Toronto here. I was working at Bay and College, I think it was. And I remember leaving work, okay? And buses upon buses and buses would pass because I'm so much closer to the Bloor line. And so then I would end up walking. I would get home from work. I'm beat. I have 2 young children at the time, right? Like, mommy, can you read me a story? I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm skipping pages. But my son is too smart. Mommy, you're skipping pages. So whatever. So I want you to keep the timeline in mind. So I graduated from University in Toronto, I think 1998 or 1999. Yeah, probably 1999. Worked at the government for 2 years until 2001.
Okay.
Son was born in 1994. My daughter was born in 1996. So she would have been around 5 at this time. Or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, there was one time I remember I was getting ready for work. Like, you and I know Hector Lamarck's story, right?
Yep. With Jan. Yep.
That was my defining moment. I remember 2 things had happened. My daughter was getting ready, and she couldn't dress herself properly. The shoes are on backwards, the clothes on backwards. And I'm so mad. And I remember yelling at her. And then right before that, somebody had been let go of the job and they didn't really care. And I remember thinking to myself in that moment, why am I yelling at this precious little child to stress myself out, to go to a job that
doesn't even care? Come on. Feeling it. Yeah.
I'm tired at night. I don't have energy for them. I got to cram my life into the weekend. I'm like, this cannot work. And so, I tried different entrepreneurial stuff along the way. And one day this dream came to me and it said, why be ordinary when you can be extraordinary? And I was like, oh, I'm like, that's cool. I didn't know where it came from, but it was just like a dream. And then somebody came over to my house to do teach us about finances, and then ended up inviting me to a meeting.
Yep. Off night.
Off night. I remember it was a Tuesday evening. Again, I came home from work and I was so tired. I was so tired and drained and I didn't want to go. But I thought, I can't be too tired to go after my own dreams. I can't give all the best of my energy. So I forced myself to go to that meeting.
Yep.
Watched all the videos, blah, blah, blah. And I think at the end, one of the videos said something about being extraordinary. So for me, it was like, that was like,
there's the sign.
That was my sign. And I'm also really passionate about helping people. So when I found out what the banks were doing and what the insurance companies were doing,
it's a crusade now.
I want to go save the world, right? So I'm like, right? So got onto my entrepreneurial journey, which ended up being a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Right? And but still did very well, right? Still did very well enough. But then ended up having to go back to work probably 2005. 2008, I went to Japan for a year, as I think I was like 35 at the time. And up until that point, it seemed like there'd been a lot of drama in my life. And so I'm like, I need to get away. I went to Japan to figure out who I really want to be. So this is what the TEDx talk is about. If I'm not a mother or a wife or a sister or whatever, who am I? If I just have a blank slate, who can I be? And then I created this vision of this person that I would be like admire in other people or be jealous of other people. And I'm like, what are the qualities they have? I'm like, what kind of life do you want? And I started to visualize that. And then I acted in accordance with who that person was and therefore became that person. And then people started to interact with me as if I were that person, therefore further reinforcing that I am that person until it manifested and solidified, right? And so, I mean, yeah, that's like the short that's the short version of where I am now and how I ended up into entrepreneurship. But it's not just about the entrepreneurship or the money. It was really about leaving a legacy. And it was really about leaving a legacy and and just having freedom and just being happy. You know, we're here, they say, for a blink of an eye, like like Rod was saying, he and I knew each other for 20 years. And so I think that we need to make the most of the time that we do have here. And I think it doesn't make sense to suffer unnecessarily, and that people should do the things or the tasks or read the books or get the mentors or the coaches or the self-development or the religious community, whatever it is you need to support yourself and to become that best person. I don't think the job kind of matters because you need to make money to pay bills, but then that just becomes a cycle. And so I really wanted to break away from all that. So one of the things that was really cool about Rod and I connecting was, like I said, with this new creation of who I wanted to be, I was no longer Giselle Medford. Like Giselle Medford had a lot of drama. She had like unsuccessful relationships with men, wasn't self-expressed, wasn't outspoken, just not the person that I wanted to be. And
Yep.
so
Right.
yeah, wasn't the person that I wanted to be. And another thing, like I said, this theme of color and culture just being all throughout my life. I met a friend, and he's a Black guy married to a white girl, and got beat up by skinheads in like 2016, like sometime when it wasn't like it didn't make sense to be beat up by skinheads at that time, right?
What?
Ended up, yeah. And so he became sort of very Black conscious, and every time he would talk to them, like, you know, it'd always be something about Black consciousness, which was fine. But he did say something once that stood out to me, which was, you know, we are kings and queens, we do come from Africa, but the way they tell history here, it's like we started off as slaves, right? The names that we have are not even our names. And when I think about hearing, like, I don't know, Kira Nugent, or if I hear Giuseppe Manelli, or if I hear George Agelopoulos, right? If I hear
Yeah.
Juan Martinez, if I hear those names, I kind of know who they are.
Right.
If I hear Roderick Norville or Giselle Medford, I have no identity of who that is.
Right.
And so for me, I wanted to change that. I mean, like I said, I worked in businesses, worked in jobs. Entrepreneurship was really my thing. Took my amazing corporate marketing skills to open up my own company. But I'm like, this company is going to do well. I'm going to do well. And I don't want the name of Mapdom to be associated with Giselle Medford. Like, who is that? Right? Right? I want people to know that this successful award-winning company is run by a woman of African descent. Once you hear and see, like our guest said, the last name is Baobab. I gave myself my whole name. But once you, so once you hear Nakimbe Baobab, people automatically like, what part of Africa are you from? And I'm like, good. I'm not actually born from there, but I'm glad that's what you think. So, I don't know how many more minutes I have, but I'll tell you about the name.
This is we got another 3.5 hours. You're fine. Go ahead. No. Listen, this is just the intro, which is awesome because you've given already. I'm watching Coach Adams like scribbling away. So she's going to probably want to book you for a one-on-one discovery call, and I know Coach Cormier will as well. How are we for time?
You guys are all awesome.
Yeah, can I get a time check? Anybody? Where are we at? I don't want Zaf to have to go because it's what? 1:47. Okay, so we will have to, if you can put a bow on the story, and then we will we'll open it up to questions and comments. And we're gonna have you on again, though. This is just an intro for right now. So you can kind of lamb.
I can wrap it all up. So
yeah.
I knew that Mapdom was going to be successful, and I wanted this name. And Nakimbe, I heard the name Nakimbe. I'm like, what is that? And I typed it in how it would be spelled, and it happens to be a river in the Central African Republic. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And my favorite tree really is the baobab tree. So that's the earth. So I have water and earth, and my full name, we'll end here. My full name is Nakimbe Oya Oshan Baobab. So
Come on.
the first part is water. Oya, she's an African goddess of wind and thunder. Oshan is the African goddess of love, and then Baobab. So all the elements in my name is me balanced.
Wow. Man, I only made it as far as earth, wind, and fire, you know, and then I was but what's funny, I'll say one thing and then we will open it up. Forget the commercials. We can add them later. We don't have time. What I want to do, because I just feel the energy and I can't wait to hear what some of the team have to either ask you or comment. I'm looking at Kingsley. I go, my boy's got something to say. He heard Africa. He's like, well, what's going on up in here? And Zaf Khan as well, my brother from another mother. He's got those tight curls, you know. We kind of have him here so all the ladies show up. But see that smile? See that smile? That's what we're selling. And but here's what's amazing. I had no idea about the name that it went that deep. Mine was like my birth name, my Christian birth name is Roderick Harold. That's what the H is. Roderick H is my father. My father is Harold. So I'm actually Harold the second. I got to find out and do some searching. I could be Roderick Harold the third for all I know. but my mom and dad met going to England on the boat. A lot of West Indian kids went to England for studies, and they studied nursing and both became nurses and then came to Canada. And my brother and sister are 9 and 10 years older than me, born in England, but I was born in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm sorry. But listen to this. This is what's crazy. I was born in Oshawa, so Canada is hockey. And they put me in hockey. My brother was 9 years older, and he was the one that put me in hockey, not my dad. My dad's like, hockey? No, we're going to play cricket. Oh, yes! So Dad, they don't play cricket here, Dad. Yeah, you can play cricket anywhere. You can play cricket anywhere. I go, Dad, they're not playing cricket. They're playing hockey. No, we can have a test match. No, Dad, no test matches, no cricket, hockey. He's like, no, cold arena, no. So my brother put me in hockey. So before I know it, I didn't know I was black either. I'm like, people would like meet me after talking to me on the phone. They're like, I didn't know you were black. I go, who's black?
What? Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing.
It was a thing. So I'm in school, everybody, and then that song, you know, one of these kids is not like the others. One of these kids is not the same. Can you guess which kid is not like the others before my song is done? And now my song is done. If you guessed the poor little black child over there didn't know he was black until he heard his first Montebanti record, you'd be right. That was me. Yeah. So Giselle, when you said this today, the only reason I go by Roderick now, I didn't even realize it's exactly what you said, because when I went through my depression and suicidal thoughts and God literally put his throat on it was the enemy that had his foot on my neck for real. And literally every day, Giselle, it was, why am I still here? I knew I couldn't take my life. I'm a Christian. I thought, man, I'll drive into a tree or something. I'll wake up in a hospital eating my potatoes through a straw. God will punish me if I even try. But then it was even worse because I started praying every night. Just don't wake me up. Just don't wake me up. And then I'd wake up. I'd be angry at God. Then I would turn on TV and see someone commit suicide. And I'd be mad. I'd be like, how come they can do it? Why can't I? Giselle, this went on for a year. That was the enemy. I'm telling you. And then God literally said, can you hear me now? He had to break me. He had to. Ego, it really is edging God out. And you know the money that company and some of those companies paid me. And that was the worst thing that could have happened to me. I thought that was something. I had my whole identity wrapped up in money and stuff. God had to take all of that away from me. Maybe this isn't for all of you, but man, God's beat down. It don't feel like love when you're going through it. It don't feel like love, but I can look back now, Giselle, the coach that I am today, because I can hear people, I can relate. I cry now, like on the drop of a dime, because I can feel the pain. I couldn't feel people's pain. If they couldn't show up at the meeting, I'm like, you deserve pain. You deserve pain. You don't love your dreams. You don't love your children. You know, that wasn't leadership. That was, I don't know what that was I learned. But here's what we're doing here. We're loving people. We're meeting them where they're at. If they got money, they're paying. If they don't have money, they're playing. I feel like a black Robin Hood. I'm going to rob from the rich and give to the poor because somebody needs to balance the scales because it's getting unfair. I got people making $10,000 an hour, but I got people that don't know where their next meal's coming from. That's a problem to me. And I think we can do better. So we will. We will. So here's what I want to do. I want to turn it over to these good-looking folks. They are going to have a question or a comment for our VIP guest today. I see Zaf there, so I'm going right to the big man. Zaf, do you have a question or a comment for my friend Giselle, but your friend Nakimbe? I go by Roderick, so when I'm in the mall, I hear someone go, Rod. I just keep walking.
You know,
I don't even turn around. I don't even know. Rod, that's not my car, officer. I don't know what you're talking about. Over to you, Zaf.
Thank you, Mr. Rod. No, it's amazing, networking and meeting people. I usually call him the lightning rod, or maybe the rod effect. It's wonderful. I mean, you won't get to meet people like yourself if you don't network, and your network is your net worth. And as Rod mentioned earlier on, it's not only finances. It's not what you know, it's who you know, because that's what it comes down to. When you mentioned you were facing challenges while you were studying, you were pregnant and had a child. And at the same time, always say it never rains, but it pours. But you began to see your future self. And that's something a lot of people don't see. They see life today and this is it, but they forget to breathe life into their future self. And one thing Matthew McConaughey once said, I think at an Oscar, is when he said, who do you want to thank? And he said, I thank me. And a lot of people don't thank themselves. You thank everyone else, but besides you, thank you for never giving up on you, because, you paved the way for women that may have been going down the same journey you have, but you are now a light of hope for them that, you can do it. No matter your circumstances, what happens to you is not you. It is a part of you, but it's not you. It's what you do with that defines you. And, thank you so much. I look forward to speaking with you and possibly meeting you one day as well. And interviewing you as well. Thank you so much.
Yes, awesome. You're going to meet at the first Lost Coaching Academy retreat, which is going to be in Florida, because Nakimbe's in Florida, and we're taking the crew on the road. We're going to Vegas in 2 weeks here. We're going from there to Utah, and then California is just over, and then we want to do Florida. We have a friend that wants us to come to Mexico, but we got to be in Barbados by April, because that's when our first retreat is going to be. We got this thing on lock, girl. So Zaf, you let us know when we're coming to Africa, baby, because my niece is in Dubai. Lizette, I see your hand, girl. Lizette has a question or a comment for Nakimbe. Over to you, Lizette.
Hey, Nakimbe, thank you for sharing your beautiful story. I love that. I wanted to pick your brain. Oh, let me see. Now I can see you. I can see you before. So thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. I'm on this journey of self-discovery myself, but mentoring women who are in my same space of, that limiting belief, that mindset that we all, societal, has put on us, as you were stating earlier in your story. But I wanted to talk to you about your TEDx. When you did it, that's a goal of mine, to do a TEDx talk. That's one of my goals. Oh my gosh, I love TEDx. Yeah. So I just wanted to pick your brain on that, because you said that when you had that dream, why be extraordinary when you can be extraordinary? And I completely resonate with that. So I just wanted to know a little bit how you came upon the TEDx talk, and was it just explain that to me?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think you can actually, I think somebody has to nominate you. So that's what happened. There was a lady who heard my story and she thought, oh my gosh, this would be such a great story. And she nominated me for the TEDx, and they got in contact with, asked me, if I'd be interested. And then I had to fill out an application. And I think I maybe had to submit a few ideas about what I would talk about. And then they take that to a review committee. And if the review committee likes it, then they bring you in for an interview. And if the interview goes well, they kind of say, okay, yeah, sure, you can do one. So it was completely unexpected, just like you. It had always kind of been a dream. And what happened right after that, I'm like, yes, I'm on my way. I'm the next Brené Brown, right? And then so that TED Talk was February of 2020. And then there was Women's Day, I think, is like March the 8th, and I had been invited to all these things, and then everything got shut down March the 12th, I think, 2020, when COVID kind of.
Right.
So I was upset a little bit, admittedly. I'm like, COVID stole my, my fame and my future and everything that was supposed to happen after the TEDx. But I mean, it was like a hell of a lot worse for a lot of people, so it's really not a big deal.
Perspective. So good, so good.
Thank you
Giselle,
for sharing.
yeah, can we say thank you for sharing, Lizette? Thank you for being here as
Yes,
well.
thank you.
It's
Thank you.
amazing. Yeah, perspective is a real thing. We say it often here. My dad used to say, I once felt bad that I had no shoes until I met a man that had no feet. And we can all relate. Who is next? Question or comment? I see Coach Corbett.
Thank you. I want to just give a huge, 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 huge thank you for coming on and sharing with our community. You are a light. You are such a role model, and I want to thank you for that. Like, just hearing parts of your story, I can relate to some things, like being a mom and having small kids and having to go out and work and having that anger coming back and not realizing where that was coming from. I was in that spot for so long, and it was just like, I want to yell. I want to yell at you, and I want to get mad, and I can't get mad at anybody. And who do I get mad at? And I ended up taking it out on my husband. And that's probably another reason why we are looking at separation right now. Because I remember I yelled at him for cooking bacon. And it wasn't about the bacon. It was, the TV was too loud. I was tired. I was cranky. It was the kids were yelling. There's three of them and they're loud, and Pampers had to be changed, and I had to go to work, and I didn't want to go to work, and my employer was rude and hateful and taking advantage of me, and I yelled at him. And I remember that this is actually one of the things that he brought up to me, and he's like, you're so angry sometimes. And it's like, I don't even know why.
Not, right? Inside, you know that you're not. It's not you.
Right? Yeah, so thank you for sharing that, because that really hit home for me. And it was like, oh, that's another thing there. Like, that's something else that belongs as a piece of my journey. And it's just like, you don't know. We're all going through the same things in a different way, but you don't know somebody else is going through until they open it up and until they share it with you. And then it's like, oh, we're alike. We're alike. And the name, I think your name is freaking boss. Like, it is beautiful. I love it. Yeah. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, right, giddy and everything for you. Like, I love that you were able to open up that part of yourself and find that part of yourself. Girl, I love you. I can't wait to hear more from you, to speak with you, oh my gosh, I'm excited.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh my gosh, big virtual hugs too. And I haven't gotten up to Eastern Canada yet. So you're in Newfoundland, so you might have a guest.
Yay! Yes, definitely come. You can come when we come visit her too. We have never met her physically in person, so we love our Miss Donna here. Yes, so I just wanted to say thank you again, Miss Nakimbe. You are just an inspiration to not only us women, but a lot of men out there too. You are a mompreneur, and it takes a lot of strength to get up every day and do what you do. Self-discovery is a big part of my journey as well. And a lot of us just need to know who we really are, man, woman, child, it doesn't matter. Once we know who we are inside and we share it with the world and whatever that may be, it's a beautiful process. So I really just want to say thank you for coming on here. You are an absolute blessing. You are a light. And I would love to ask you, if somebody would like to find you, where would they go to maybe find you or your coaching or whatever you offer? Where would they find you?
Okay, so I am all over social media under my name, Nakimbe Baobab. So I'm not on X or Twitter yet. But yeah, we've got a YouTube channel, Mapdom, so you can follow that. But I would love for everyone to just reach out and send me a personal email. Just say hi, right? Because I think when they have these meetings, people are like, okay, go to my website, go to my social media, and people do or they don't. I want to connect. So my personal email, and you guys can do what you want to during the editing process, but I don't actually care, but it's Nakimbe Baobab at mapdom.com. That's MAPPDOM.com. Send me an email, say hi. Again, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, but if it's email, it's personal and I can make sure we connect rather than you follow me. I won't even necessarily know you followed me, right? So I'd love for everyone to connect me that way if you want to.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Love that. All right, beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Coach Adams. I did see JT put his camera on. He is in our #21 challenge, just as is Kinsley. So he's just a spectator, but he is no just spectator. He's known both Coach Adams and I a while. I know your camera was kind of on and off. I didn't know if you just wanted to show us your good looks there, brother, or did you have a question or a comment for our VIP guests? We're just wrapping up.
Am I on?
I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
I can see you. Oh, you came on and off.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, and we can see you. Hi.
All right. No, unfortunately, I don't have any questions or comments. Just like the girls had said, you have a light. You shine bright and keep doing it. And you're a beautiful soul, and I can see it. So
Wow.
Awesome.
I'm from London,
Yep.
Ontario, Canada.
Thank you
you
for
so
being
much,
here.
Stacey. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, JT. Good to have you. And you and Kingsley should connect because you guys can hold each other accountable to see if you survive. I think we lost 2 already that started on Monday. So they have a 21-day challenge just to show up once a day, camera on, out of the VIP. And we had 2 already. Eric on, couldn't do it. So you have to start their 21 days over, and there's no job offer unless you can go 21 days and prove to us that you actually can show up. Imagine that. You just have to show up once in a 24-hour period, because thanks to Zaf being in South Africa, we can have the office open overnight. This is our office. This is a virtual office, and you just have to drop in any hour on the hour, because at quarter after, there may be a VIP guest, or it may be just the crew hanging out. It could be Lizette holding space, or Donna, or Amanda. Amanda calls this a 24-hour drop-in support room, because her passion, which she's gonna close us out here with why we're doing what we're doing. One of many reasons. There's lots of causes. Lizette, for I believe divorce or domestic. Sorry, Lizette. What's your cause that's powering you? You're muted, love. You're muted. Everyone should always share share. What's your advocating for?
So advocating for women, divorced women, rediscovering
yes.
their right, and their purpose, and through healing, through everything they've been through. Like myself, I'm equipped to help others by the person that I once was. So that's what I'm currently doing. So yes, you can reach out to me.
Thank you. Mine's
you.
real quick. I'm advocating for dads that the system regarding parental custody and just not getting a fair shake on the whole dynamic of co-parenting. That's mine. But Coach Adams, I'm going to go deeper with you one-on-one with what Mapdom is. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, you are. Mapdom. Yep.
Mapdom. Because my question to every VIP guest is, how can we support or serve you? What do you need? Is there anything within our community that we can offer? Because we're just here to serve. I've seen what happens when I'm just serving me. I make a lot of money when I serve me because I got work ethic, tenacity, persistence. I won't quit, but that's a lonely game and it doesn't end well.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. I learned that if you're not careful, your talent, because anything you do repetitiously, you'll master. And money doesn't lead, it follows, and it follows mastery. So if you do anything over and over and over, you're going to master it. But if you're not careful, your talent might take you somewhere that your character can't keep you.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So, Coach Adams, tell us what gets you up in the morning. Why are you doing what you do? Because there's a picture just to the left of you that you might want to share about. Over to you.
All right. Yes. Hello, everybody. Yes, I am advocating for mental health and suicide prevention awareness. I have lost many people close to me due to mental health. And I just want to get the word out there that they're not alone, that they're really not alone, that there's a lot of us out there that can be in a dark place. But there's also a lot of us out there who have light and that could reach our hand down and help them up. So I'm advocating for that. I created a foundation here through this amazing company, Lost Media Productions. It's called Smile More, because I truly believe that everybody, big, small, black, white, yellow, it doesn't matter. Everybody deserves to smile more. With that, I'm complete. Thank you for letting me share.
All right. Well, we know there's this much love in the house. We could be here all day, especially when JT's on there. Good looking brother. My pigmentally challenged friend. Listen, we
That's
got.
because you haven't listened to my voice message yet. You're still talking to me because you
I'm
haven't
here
listened to
trying
my
to
voice
change the
message
world,
yet.
bro.
You're leaving me
I
hanging,
wish you were so
freaking me
far
out. I
away.
thought you listened and weren't happy.
No, what? Nothing makes me unhappy now. I'm too blessed to be stressed
Wait
now.
till you
Come
hear
on.
it. Wait till you hear it. Wait till you hear it
I'll
before you
hear it.
talk.
Okay, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to have you on as a VIP guest, bro. You have a story overcoming. You just don't quit. That's why you're here, bro. And this is just the beginning. Kingsley, we'll hear from you a little later. We're going to wrap it up here. To our viewers, to our listeners, thank you again for being here. Once again, my name is Roderick H. Norville, and I can't even tell you, there are no words, because you have given us of your time. And we say time is free, but it's priceless. You never get it back. And you gave us yours. So we want to say thank you. We are grateful. Go out and have yourself a fantastic Thursday. And remember, do what you love, because your soul knows, and you'll smile more. Have a fantastic day. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Bye, guys. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.